Well, good afternoon again, everybody. How are you this wonderful sunny Tuesday here? It is very, very sunny here in Adelaide, South Australia, which is wonderful. I hope you are having a fantastic week so far. And as you would have seen, we have been going live the last couple of days where we have been, actually more than the last couple of days, in the last week, where we have been interviewing our sponsors for our upcoming Heart and Soul Virtual Expo. Now, before I introduce our wonderful sponsor today, I would just like to quickly mention that this is your absolute last chance. If you are someone who's wondering about the Heart and Soul Virtual Expo and how you can become a stall holder or a sponsor, please pop Expo 25 in the comments and we will get in touch with you. I'm going to explain a little bit more about that at the end of this interview. All right. Now, as I said, we are having our wonderful sponsor interviews, our wonderful sponsor chats over the next week or so. Our Heart and Soul Virtual Expo goes live next Wednesday, so we're just over a week away. And today, I would love to introduce you to the wonderful Helen Prince. She is called the Wealth and Wellness Lady, and I absolutely love that because Helen's mission is to help us create financial peace of mind in a way that's simple, stress-free, and effective. And it doesn't involve, get this, it doesn't necessarily involve getting an extra job or starting a new business. Now, this is really interesting. So I'm going to bring Helen up now. We're going to talk about that. Helen, my darling, how are you?
Hello, I'm very well. How are you?
I'm wonderful. So, Helen, tell us a little bit about what you do and how you got into that particular role.
Okay. So basically I help women our age, so, in their 20s.
I wish.
Help the more mature, experienced ladies just have some sort of financial plan B, a proper one, not a I wish and hope and one day I'll get to it one, a proper one. So about 12 months ago now, my whole world got turned upside down. I lost 2 incomes like that overnight. And it sent me into this holy shit, what am I going to do sort of panic. And luckily, I have a wonderful husband and we have money saved. And, so it wasn't, I wasn't in that, oh my God, sort of situation where it could easily have gone very bad very quickly. There was a bit of breathing space, but I still had the, oh my God, what am I going to do? Freak out sort of.
Of course you did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
So when the dust sort of settled and I was able to look at, okay, well, what am I actually going to do? There were lots of things that were running through my mind because we have always said, yes, we'll do this and we'll do that. And we'll, when the kids were born, we'll create, a little investment funds for each of the kids so that when they're 21, they'll have this thing. My daughter just turned 19 yesterday. So that account doesn't exist, so there's all these coulda, woulda, shoulda, didn't, because, life happens and we don't actually get round to it. And a lot of the stuff that is out there, you got to put quite a bit of time and effort in, because I wanted a passive income. And normally a passive income involves something in an MLM kind of business, which I love MLMs. They are the best business model I think I've ever seen. Everything, though, requires quite a bit of effort. There's that period where you've got to build, you've got to work hard. I'm a little bit lazy and I didn't want to do that. And especially because, this happened when just after I turned 52. And it was like, I've been working hard for so long. I don't want to have to start again. And so I found something that gave me the passive income without having to work hard and sell products and, do all of the hard work that is normally involved. So that's what I'm sharing with other women. I want to open people's eyes to what is actually available, because we don't know what we don't know.
And that's really, I agree with you. We don't know what we don't know. And actually, it was interesting because as I watched your whole body language just then, and as you said, you know, you help people, you help women to do, you know, create this passive income where you don't have to do all the things. You just kind of went, oh, and even I went, oh, that sounds lovely.
We've got enough to do.
We have, I know, and you know, it's stressful. It can be stressful. There's a lot of changes that happen when we get to over 20. I mean, over 50. I'm proud to be midlife. That's what I'm saying. I'm proud to be not midlife. I don't even like that. I'm proud to be a mature woman. Yeah. But there are a lot of changes that we go through in that life, like you said. So your daughter's just turned 19. My daughter's just got married. And, you know, my son got married 6.5 years ago. And I had all these intentions of giving them this big gift, financial gift, when they got married. Do you think that happened? No.
Here's a fiver. Good luck. Yeah.
It was a bit like that, unfortunately.
You can't even get a coffee, but, you know.
Grab a coffee on your honeymoon, that's it. Or on a bus on the way. No, it's a bit more than that. But still, it's stressful, you know. And so tell us a little bit, if you're happy to give us a little bit of a short dive into exactly how you do that. Because I know, of course you know I know, because I'm one of your clients. So
I don't know if I can do a short dive. I did an interview with another lady the other day, and she said, just, you know, in a couple of words, tell me something. And I've gone 700 million words, and then I was able to wrap it up. So anyway,
hey, girlfriend, we've got time.
See, I'm even just talking a lot now, and I haven't even got to the question. What was the question? What do I do?
Give us a bit of a short dive into what you do. Short or long, doesn't matter. We've got time.
It's not going to be short. Okay, so what I do is really, I want to open up the dialogue about money, because that first and foremost is the most important thing. I know with myself, it was, you're brought up in that sort of era. You don't talk about money. It's not polite. You know, you go to work, the little woman stays at home, all of this sort of stuff. And you don't talk about money. Don't you worry your pretty little head, Ali Sugars, about all of that money stuff.
Sure.
So women don't have a great relationship with money. We need it, because money's just, you know, everyone needs money. We don't necessarily like to talk about it, don't necessarily like to admit that we want it. So there's a lot of guilt, there's shame, there's comparison, there's all this rubbish associated with money. So I want to try and stop that and change the narrative, because at the end of the day, money's just money. It doesn't, money doesn't change who you are, it amplifies who you are. So if you're an asshole, you're an asshole with lots of money. If you're a nice person, you're a nice person with lots of money who can then do lots of nice things for other people. Do you know what I mean?
I'm laughing because I just love the way you phrase things, Helen. You're an asshole. You're just an asshole with money. I love that. It's so true, though.
Probably get I don't know. This may not even go out because Facebook might be listening.
No, that's okay. Well, we won't worry
to myself.
Just in case. Okay. That's all right.
Yeah. So, but then there's all of that. You know, if I get money, it'll change me. And what if I turn into one of those greedy people? Because, you know, we've got all of these beliefs. Rich people are greedy. Rich people are mean. You know, there's all of these things that we've been brought up with, and we don't want to become those things. So I really want to open up that dialogue and have women, especially, because men seem to be okay. Obviously, it's not all. There's ranges, but women seem to have more of a bad relationship with money. So I want to change that and have women see money for just what it is. It's just a means to an end. At the end of the day, the more you have, the more you can do with it, and the more choices that you have. So I want to open up the dialogue around money. It's okay to talk about money. And I don't mean that you just go up to someone and say, so how much money do you make? That's not what we're doing here. It's
that's not.
No, that's a little bit rude still.
Yeah.
But it's still being comfortable talking about money.
Yes.
So that's first and foremost, to get that whole shift in the narrative, shift in our own mindset and how we view it. And then showing people the different ways that they can actually make money work for them. Because what we've been taught and what we've grown up with as well is just a very controlled, centralized system where it's like you put your money in the bank and the bank will give you interest on that money. And if you lock it away a little bit longer, they'll give you a little bit more interest. And that's how it's done. And that's how you get ahead, which is not true. Because we've all heard of this little thing called inflation.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
so
we know it well.
Yeah. So inflation is just why everything costs more and why we're struggling so much and why we can't seem to ever get ahead. And if you look at the interest rates that banks are offering, banks are making a shit ton of money off your money, by the way, and they give you this much of it. And we're meant to say, oh, thank you so much, you know. So I got and just a little side note here, I got an email from my bank that said basically, you know, the cash rate is going down.
Right.
Which way was it? So the interest, the mortgage rate is going down. Great. But then also the amount of interest that you can earn on your money is also going down. You can't earn high interest on your money and have low interest on your mortgage at the same time. They just don't do that. Okay. So you sort of lose on one side. If you're on both sides of the coin, so if you are retired and you've got cash and it's all on the interest, you just got a pay cut. But if you've got a mortgage, you're glad that it's gone down because that means more money. So there's always a loser in the current system, basically. So anyway, so I want to just show people that there are different ways to do things. There are better ways to do things. There are easier ways that use a lot more leverage, and that is then going into the crypto space.
Yeah.
Cool. So then when we talk crypto,
I know, because people go crypto and I say this. I said this to Carly the other day. I am not ashamed to believe when people say crypto, we go. A lot of people go, and that was me. I honestly did years and years and years ago. I don't now because, as you know, and I love the fact that you and I are working together because you are helping me with, you know, to do all that. And so what do you think that, you know, that initially comes to mind when people hear crypto?
The first thing they think is they're going to lose money because they're going to get scammed. And yes, people do lose money in crypto. People also lose money in property. They also lose money in shares. If you've looked at your super recently, you would have seen that it went down because billions of dollars were wiped off the stock exchange a few months ago. So if you had sold any of those in those times, you would have lost money. People lose money for a million different reasons. And sometimes it's because, you know, there's some very bad people who are actively trying to scam you out of your money. So this is where it comes back to, you know, just sort of stopping and pausing and going, is that actually a real thing before you know, go too far down the track and ask questions. It's about just, I think we're becoming a lot better at it these days because it is so much in the forefront that we don't just blindly click on things and follow things.
Very,
we are
true.
Stopping. Yeah. So that is a good thing because you need to be aware of things.
Yeah.
There needs to be some degree of skepticism right? So that you
Yep.
question things. You don't just blindly trust and follow things, because that's when you will get in trouble. So there does need to be a level of skepticism where you question, hang on a minute, I don't even have a Commonwealth Bank account, but I better press it and see what it's about. So just stopping and thinking a little bit.
Oh my God. How many people have gotten done by that?
Yeah. So we're much better at not doing that now, although it still happens. So
oh yeah.
And I think that people have been taken advantage of, and then we all know that the news is flooded with all of the doomsday stories. Their channels are dedicated to perpetuating the fear. And whilst there is a need to know about some things, you've got to sort of bring it into balance as well, because there's not so much. There's also, on the flip side, some people doing some very good things and making lots of money, whether it's in property or shares or crypto or whatever. So there's always two sides of the story. So what I want to do is help educate people around crypto, sort of cut through all the noise, cut through all the fear, and lay out the facts. So whether you want to do crypto or not, I don't care. That's your choice. But make your choice based on fact, not on fear.
Exactly.
And that's with anything that you want to get into.
Well, it is. And one thing that I really love and respect about you is that, I know you've done this a couple of times in the Expo, and I'm really hoping that you're going to do it again in this one, is that you are not afraid to show us behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And that in itself is powerful. It's like, here you go, guys. This is, if you've got any doubt, okay, so do your research, actually, absolutely. And let me say, when you go and have a chat with Helen, she's very open. She'll talk to you. And if you don't get it, if you're a bit of a dumbass like me, I'm not a dumbass, I'll take that back. I'm just not good at numbers. Right, and Helen will explain it to you until you get it. Now, I was going somewhere else with that. No, it shows behind the scenes in the Expo. So, are you going to do that again?
Yes. Yeah, I will. I'll show you my account. So what I do within the crypto space is predominantly. So I've got two things, and I will show both. The one I think that is easiest for people to understand, and the one with the lower amount of risk, is getting into Bitcoin, but not how you think you should get into Bitcoin. It's a little bit of a hybrid sort of model, because some people may have heard about Bitcoin mining, where you buy these machines. They can be quite expensive to own and as well as operate. They use a lot of electricity. So you've got your initial startup cost for the machine, and then you pay for electricity every month as well. So it can be quite expensive to start up. Very lucrative though. So mining is brilliant. And the other well-known way to get into crypto or to get into Bitcoin specifically, is to just buy Bitcoin. So you swap dollars, whatever currency it is, and you swap it for Bitcoin, and then you hold it. And you hopefully the Bitcoin's going to go up, which it has been. And yes, there are fluctuations, but that's another story. We'll talk about that later if you've got time. But I'll talk about that more in the Expo as well.
Yes, and you do. You play them very well.
Yeah. So what I do is like a hybrid between the two. So you're getting the benefit of mining. You're still buying the crypto, essentially, kind of, sort of. It's a little bit different though. But what it does do is it leverages your money and your time, so that you are accumulating Bitcoin every single day. Just like if you had back in the day, we had our little piggy bank, and you'd put your pocket money in, the little coins in the piggy bank. Every time you got some pocket money, and, if you left it and didn't cheat and get some out through the little hole in the bottom, you would have this nice pile of coins at the end of the year. So it kind of works in the same way. You leave it do its things. At the end of the year, you've got this nice little stockpile of Bitcoin. And then if you leave it again for the next year, you've got even more and more and more and more. And it just keeps growing every day without you having to spend any more money, which I love, without you having to look at it, without you having to watch charts and worry about what the price of Bitcoin is. I've got no idea what the price of Bitcoin is today because it's just going to do its thing and I don't need to know, because my focus is on collecting the coins, basically, not what the price is doing. The price is going to do what the price is going to do.
Yes.
The more coins you have in time, obviously with the value of Bitcoin, the more value that's going to be. And the reason I say Bitcoin is the lowest risk is because it's been around for so long. It is the granddaddy of cryptocurrency. It's not going anywhere. Countries are adopting it. It's getting more usage, more utility is what they call it, which is just increasing the value. There's a limit on it that increases the value. It's got so much going for it that it is truly a very safe coin to get into. And if you use what I'm doing, you're going to accumulate it faster as well.
Beautiful. And I think that's really, really important because, and going back to what you said before, you know, the little tin, the little saver tin. I was actually having a conversation with someone a couple of days ago. We were talking about, you know, how you get those metal tins, you know, with the $100 note around them and stuff. I was talking about how I used to have one of them and it got to the point where it was like half full, but then we'd get a knife and we'd try and get the, you know, even though you couldn't open it, figure out how to get the knife and get the $2 and
get a can opener. Yeah,
completely cheating. No can opener, no, because we didn't want to. I didn't want to think I was cheating, but I was because I was getting it out. But this is what I love. You know, once you get into Bitcoin, you know, you can you just leave it sitting there and it does its thing for you. Which, for me, and even going back to what you were, you know, your body language before, is when I think about that, I just go, oh, it's all sitting in the background happening for me. Yeah. It's just a real peace of mind. Do you find that with yourself?
Yeah. It actually, it truly excites me, which is a little bit sad.
No, it's pretty good.
And today I've just transferred some more money because I'm going to buy some more of these. They're called Bit Boosters. I'm buying some more. And this is how I'm going to help our kids as well, because I want them to move out of our house one day. I love them, but I do not want them living with us forever. And, you know, how the hell are they going to afford to buy a home? And so I'm buying Bit Boosters for the kids as well. So we've all got them and, I'm buying some more today. And if Bitcoin does what they think it's going to do in the next 5 years, you want to own Bitcoin. At the moment, it's sitting around that 105, 110 sort of thousand US per coin.
Yes.
They're talking about, and depends on who you listen to, and of course it's all speculation and nobody actually knows, but what everyone is saying is that you want to own Bitcoin. And this is where, you know, it's like, okay, well, I want to own Bitcoin, but it costs $110,000 to own a Bitcoin. I don't have a lazy 110 sitting in my ashtray. How do I get into it? Yeah. So I've got a way that you can get into it. And, you know, by 2030, people are talking about Bitcoin being worth anywhere between 250,000 US to millions for one coin.
Which is powerful.
Which is just nuts. And so the more of it you have, it's just, I don't know, to me that's pretty exciting. It feels like I've got something that I am actually going to be able to give to the kids and say, here, go and, I don't know, do something with this. Yeah. Whereas if I was just relying on our income, it's never going to happen. I can't see how it could happen for us, you know, unless we won lotto.
And that's right too. I mean, even, you know, where we started talking about, you know, midlife women, but now, you know, even you talk about our kids, you know, kids owning homes, or kids, when I say kids, my children are in their 30s. Did I just say that out loud? Yes. But real seriously, and I think about it, and I just think I know how stressful it was for us when we were starting off in life to have to get that house and get that mortgage. The more we get into it, or the more the years go on and the inflation happens, and we've all heard about the cost of living, the harder it is for anybody, no matter what age, to even consider buying a home. So my thought is, why wouldn't you do something like crypto that is the way of the future? It's a bit like AI in business. Like it or not, it is the way, and it is a lot safer. That's where my mind goes with that. I'm just like, I want the best for my kids too. So your 19-year-old is going to thank you.
Yeah. Well, I shared this on the last Expo. So I said to her, do you want to invest in Bitcoin? And she's gone, no.
No.
Okay. And then so a few days later, I said to her, oh, sweetie, can I borrow $1,500? I'll pay you back next year with interest. Yeah, sure, Mum, here. I won't miss it.
Oh,
awesome.
Nice.
So $1,500 is so the Bit Boost is $1,000 US. So that's how much it was. I think the exchange is still pretty similar at the moment. So I've set up an account for her called My Mum Rocks because I got to name the account. That's her username.
Because she does. And she doesn't know? Does
no,
she doesn't
know. No, she doesn't know. She doesn't know that she has this. And 5 years. She'll know in 5 years.
Yes. Well, if she watches this, she'll know now.
Yeah. She's not going to watch this. Ew. Why would I watch my mother? Ew.
Ew. Yeah. Oh my God.
Ew, David.
Oh, one of my favorite shows. Ew, David. Anyway, oh my God, we can just go on forever. And the other thing I want to say too, and I want to come back to why, and I want to share with everybody openly why I have gotten into crypto myself, simply because of the lack of super.
Oh yeah, my super's sad.
My super sucks ass, like basically, because I have been self-employed for the majority of my life, and even the 10 years that I worked in a day job, I've had to access that super for numerous reasons. And, I was one of those people who during COVID went, oh, great, we can get $10,000 out of our super. Fantastic. Wonderful at the time. Sucks ass now. Because I look at it and go, I want to retire by the time I'm 60, and I'm turning 53 this year. So even for you to say to us that, what did you say, 2030, that Bitcoin's going to be worth, how much did you say?
Well, anywhere between 250,000 up to multiple millions, depending on who you listen to.
Makes me happy because I want to retire at 60, and I don't want to be one of these retirees who has to scrape every penny. I want to leave. I want to leave a legacy to my children. So that excites me. But how many ladies do you think, and I'm going to say ladies in particular, because the men are the ones, like you said, go off to have a day job, right? And they'll go off, and women are kind of, we just go, oh, if you go to work and if you bring in a bit of cash to the household, then that's great. But, and therefore, things happen throughout life. And sometimes these ladies are left by themselves with no financial security. Oh, making myself depressed.
So it's not just, so women earn less.
Yes,
right?
Definitely. Yep.
If we stop and have children, we're out of the workforce.
Yes.
If we don't stop and have children, we're called bad mothers. Having a husband is not a backup plan because things happen to partners. Whether it's a divorce or whether there's an accident, something, it's not a backup plan to have, just a partner. So we need to, and this is why I want so much for women to really take their head out of the sand, because I know for me it was something if I pretend it doesn't exist, la, 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 I can't see you, you can't see me sort of thing. But you got to take your head out of the sand. And the sooner that you do that and really have a good hard look at what's your financial reality, it can be quite scary to do that, which I fully get, because I didn't want to look at it for a long time. But it can also be very empowering. And the sooner that you sort of face it and go, right, this is how I feel, believe, this is what it is, but I'm going to do something anyway. And the sooner you get to that point, whatever that next step is that you want to do, that you can see, because there's so many options. This is just one. So many options that you can do. The moment you make that decision, though, and go, you know what, I want to, I need to, I am ready to do something, that's all you need to do, is make that decision. The something will come into your path, all right? It will come across your path. Your job then is to have your eyes and your ears open and listen and educate yourself, and then take an action, okay? You don't have to have all the answers right now. You just need to be open to receiving something. When it's there, be open to listening and educating yourself, and then make a decision based on all of that and what feels right for you.
100%. And I'm one of those people that, like you said, something will happen. And it kind of came to a head when it was a few years ago now. But, after 2020, I'd accessed that super, and I knew I didn't have much left, but I had that backup plan of a partner. And then that relationship didn't last, unfortunately. So all of a sudden, here was I having to support myself, but also in the background knowing that I didn't have that super backup for when I do want to retire. And I'm dead certain I'm going to retire at 60, baby.
Me too.
But even though, and people will say to me, oh, you run a successful business. Yes, I do. Yes, absolutely. But sometimes I think super, let's call a spade a spade. Super is the last thing we look at, because we're simply trying to live and keep up with the cost of living. Yes. So to utilize and access the crypto and the Bitcoin, for me, knowing that it's just sitting there working in the background for me, gives me such a sense of relief. And I know that I'm not the only one that you work with that has that feeling, including yourself.
Yeah. And it's just why I love crypto as well is because you can get some really, really good returns. So 5% is not a good return, okay? 5% on $1,000 is $50.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
no. Even your super. I was watching one of the ads the other night, and you know how they do the compare the pair, whatever they do with their hands, and they talk about, and they have the things rolling over, here's Mary, and she did this, and Jane did that, and they had the things ticking over, and I swear that the difference over 5 years between the two figures was something like $5,000.
What?
I know, and it's like, did I see that right? And then the ad was gone. It's like, I don't know if I saw that right. So I've been waiting for the ad, which no one ever says, to just, because it was like, that's rubbish. $5,000 extra because she made a different choice on her super. She got an extra $5,000 over 5 years. That's rubbish. That is absolutely rubbish. And don't accept that, is what I'm saying. We've been conditioned as well. Yeah, we've been conditioned to get super. You need super. Super's a great idea, all right? I'm all for super.
Yep.
But we've been conditioned to get your super, when you're 18, you get a job and you get super, and don't ever look at it, think about it until you're ready to retire at whatever the age is that it happens to be, because they keep pushing that out as well. We'll be retiring when we're 100. So,
oh, yeah, I know, yeah.
So, but there's a good, 40, now I can't do maths, 20 plus 65, 45 years. Let's just call it 45 years. We're meant to just sort of, it's doing its thing. Don't worry about it. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Check your super, okay, because there's lots of different levels in your super that you can have. You can have something that is quite balanced, that's has a higher risk with a higher return, or lower, and there's all sorts of things within your super. Check your super, check your fees, check what you actually are getting, not what they're saying that the average return is. I don't know what they're saying now, 8%, 10% or something like that. That might be it. But when you take out the fees and then you take into account inflation, what are you actually getting on your super? How much is your super actually growing year on year? And that's what I want people to have a look at. And if they're happy with what it's doing, fantastic. If they're not, go and get some advice and do something. And the sooner that you can look at it and make a decision, the sooner you can start to turn things around. When I looked at our super, because we've now got a self-managed super fund, when I looked at ours, we were making something like 6.25% per annum. And at that rate, we're not retiring anytime soon. No. So that was where it was like, oh, yeah, I not just want to do something, I need to do something, because I'm not working forever. I don't enjoy working. I want to do something where I enjoy doing it, not because I have to be there for to survive. Yeah.
I 100% agree. And we actually, me and my partner, we often go down to stay at a holiday house down south of Adelaide. And there's a lady who lives next door, and she is in her late 70s. And I always say to her, I want to be like you when I grow up. Even though I'm never going to grow up, but I say to her, I want to be like you. But, what I see, and whether this is true or not, is, she's free, and I want to be like that. I want to be like that without the financial headaches. I just want to be able to live and be,
just do what you want to do.
As well as knowing that there's, something that I'm leaving to my kids. I think for me, that's the most important thing as well. And everyone's obviously got their different reasons, haven't they? So,
yes. Yeah.
Helen, this has been an incredible chat, and we could go on forever. But I don't want to talk about everything too much, because I know that you have incredible information that you are going to share in the expo. I'm not even going to ask you what you're going to share on, because I want to leave a little bit of mystery there. But what I would like to ask you, if people are watching this and they're thinking, I really want to have a chat to this lady, she knows her stuff, how can they get in contact with you?
Probably the easiest is to just go onto my Facebook profile and send me a DM. That's probably the easiest one. And then we can connect. But I would encourage you to definitely come along to the expo and have a listen to the lives. I will go into more detail on how it works and what you can expect to gain from it, because at the end of the day, whether you want to admit it or not, we all want to know what's in it for me. Why should I buy it? How is this going to benefit me? So I'm going to show you how it's going to benefit you by showing you how it has benefited me, if that makes sense, so that you can see. I like to show people, because not everyone is good with numbers, and even if you talk numbers, if I can show you, it's going to make more sense as well, and that will help the penny to drop a little bit, and that'll ultimately help you in your decision. I just want people to be able to say, yes, that's for me, or no, it's not, and move on to the next thing. Not in that limbo or what am I going to do, wasting time sort of thing. Just make a decision, whichever way you want to go. I don't mind, but make a decision And if it's not with this, go and find something that you love and that you resonate with, that is going to give you the result that you want for your retirement.
Perfect.
Ultimately.
Perfect. I love it, Helen. That is really sound advice. So, guys, yes, if you would like to get in touch with Helen, just send her a DM. Otherwise, come along to the expo, and I highly encourage you to watch Helen's lives. I will be watching, even though I am the host of the expo, but I watch these lives because every time I learn more. So, you know, the not good with numbers lady goes, oh, every time. So thank you so much for coming on today, Helen, and thank you for being a sponsor of our Heart and Soul Virtual Expo. It's been a pleasure, my darling. All right, I'm going to pop you down below, but don't go anywhere. Thank you again, Helen. Oh, my goodness, what a lovely chat. And honestly, I could talk to Helen for hours, but we don't have hours. Guys, as I said before, if you would like to be a part of the Heart and Soul Virtual Expo as a stall holder, we have one sponsorship place left. And we have a few stall holder spots left, but today is your absolute last day to register. The reason for that is because it does take a little bit of time to set everything up, and we don't want you to be rushing at the last minute. So if you would like to be a part of our expo, please pop Expo 25 in the comments and we will be in touch with you straight away. Our expo starts, we go live next Wednesday, the 11th of June, and we go through to Friday the 13th. Oh, I don't want to say Friday the 13th. Anyway, Friday the 13th of June, we're going to have a great expo. And if you would like to come for free as a visitor, what I'll get my beautiful virtual assistant Parme to do is just to pop the group link in the comments, and you can join us for free as a visitor. We have a bunch of incredible stall holders. I just did what, Claire? We have a bunch of incredible stall holders who have got stall albums that you can go and visit them. They have specials and promotions